Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another one. Hope all is well. On this video, I want to go back to the original police report in this case because there's some details there that was not good for the defense, and I'm going to point them out as I go along. I'm going to read it slowly. As far as the arrest report, but make sure for those that's watching the rebroadcast, please give us a like, comment, share, and subscribe. Also, hype the video up. That puts us in the algorithm and it helps us out. All of that'll be greatly appreciated. But yeah, like I said, like and comment and hype, but comment so that we could figure out where to go next. Sometimes I look at the comments and I get inspiration to make other videos. So yeah, make sure you comment for us, and that'll be greatly 100% appreciated with no preservatives added. Um, So, like I said, the money is in the details. Okay. The money is in the details. I don't want some people might say after I read this, well, they doctored the police report. It could be. It could be they could have doctored it, but this is the police report that they read in court to the jury. The jury had access to this police report. But the fact of the matter is, though, with all the evidence, being that as serious this is a first degree murder case, the jury deliberated for a little under 2 hours, like I said they were gonna do. Now, like I said, for why is that bad for the defense? Because that's not a long time to deliberate, a little under 2 hours, which means they had their mind already made up. This was an easy case for them, to listen to. That's what I'm gathering from this. For them to only take a little under 2 hours, about 2 hours to deliberate, with the seriousness of this case, this was a open and shut case for them. So I want to go back to the beginning and find out why was this an open and shut case for them? Because I wasn't there and I don't have the transcripts yet. But I'm sure they'll be made available at some point. But until then, we got the police report that's available online. And once the transcripts become available, then I will check those out to see. Because the jury, they didn't, like I said, they didn't take that long to deliberate. So that means that they found him guilty way before then. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, the Knicks fans are crazy. Those wasn't Knicks fans, though. Those were paid people to be out there to cause destruction. No regular person is going to go out there and do that. All right. So let's get into this. So on April 2nd, 2025, um, let me see. Staley School Resource Officer E. Cortez heard over the radio dispatch call out a stabbing call at the David Kukendall Stadium. All right. FFD call notes indicated that an athlete was stabbed. The suspect was reported as being a black male wearing a gray hoodie and blue sweatpants. I immediately left my office and ran across to the Staley Middle School parking, Frisco, Texas lot towards the southwest entrance into the stadium. As I entered the stadium, two high school age students informed me that the victim was on the north end of the stadium by the bleachers under the Memorial High School tent. I did not identify these students. Next, I proceeded towards the north end of the stadium, the visitor side. Let me see, visitor side on foot. As I got closer to the north end, I could see the Memorial High School tent with multiple individuals on foot. As I got closer to the north end, I could see the Memorial High School tent with multiple individuals under the tent. Once I arrived onto the north side of the bleachers, an adult male who was on the track pointed out under the tent. Once I arrived onto the north side bleachers, an adult male who was on the track, oh, wait a minute, let me read this again, pointed out the suspect. He pointed out the suspect. I was not able to identify that witness. The individual that was pointed out to me was a black male wearing a gray hooded sweater with dark colored Nike pants. The suspect at this point was on the, hold on, was on the track on the north end. There was a chain link fence that separated me from the suspect. I gave the suspect instructions to keep his hands up in the air. During this time, the suspect said verbally out loud, I was protecting myself. It should be noted that I had not questioned him about the incident when he made that comment. I asked him if he had any weapons. He said no. All right, so stop right there. So he asked the officer asked him, did he have any weapons? He said no. So he ditched that weapon and just started running, I guess. But they later, I guess, they found it. So yeah, so he said I asked him if he had any weapons. He said no. But let me stop right there. He also said I was defending myself. That's what he said to the officer. It should be yeah. So he said I asked him if he had any weapons. He said no. I patted him down for weapons while we were walking along the fence, and I did not locate any on his person. I instructed the male to continue walking along the fence, which he complied, towards an area where there was an opening in the fence that led off the track. While walking him off the track, the suspect also said he put his hands on me. I then detained the suspect in handcuffs with the cuffs behind his back and had him sit down on the ground. So let me stop right there. So while walking him off the track, the suspect said he put his hands on me. So let's stop right there. He didn't say they put their hands on me. He said he put his hands on me, which is a singular person. He said he put his hands on me, meaning that the person that was already stabbed. So you can draw a lot of inferences off this police report. Because, like I said, I know a lot of people are trying to come up with certain narratives on this case, but the police report is available. I guess they think nobody's going to read it. I've read it before, but it's time to read it again. He didn't say they put his hands on me. He said he. So he did. He did not get jumped, ladies and gentlemen. He did not get jumped. Okay. I know people are going with the narrative that he got jumped. He did not get jumped. Okay. He said he put his hands on him. He didn't say they. Okay. So people are going with this narrative. They're lying, and they're doing it maybe for clicks or to keep the drama going, because people want to keep this drama going. But he said in the police report. Um, he said while walking off the track, the suspect also said he put his hands on me. He put his hands on me. Remember that. I then detained the suspect in handcuffs, handcuffed behind his back, and had him sit down on the ground. Officer A. Ricci had arrived on the scene. I conducted another pat down on his person, and then search his person after he gave me consent. No weapons were located. While the suspect sat on the ground, I advised that I had the alleged suspect. The suspect then responds and says, I'm not alleged, I did it. He said, I'm not alleged, I did it. So he admitted to doing it. He admitted to the murder. But he said he put his hands on me. He, singular, he, not they. And then these people are not going to run Jedi mind tricks on me because we're going back to the original police report. He said he put his hands on him. He didn't say they, so he did not get jumped. So I don't even care about there's no video because he did not get jumped. This incident involved him and one guy. Um, he said, "I'm not alleged. I did it." Next, Officer Ricci and I walked the suspect to the patrol vehicle number 2412. This is Officer A. Ricci's patrol vehicle, which was on the northeast of the stadium. As we walked to the squad car, the suspect was emotional and said, he put his hands on me. I told him not to. He said, I did not question the suspect about the incident while he was escorted to the patrol vehicle. I searched the person once again and I had him sit in the back seat. Let's stop right there. As we were walking to the squad car, the suspect was emotional and said he put his hands on me and I told him not to. He didn't say they. Yeah, at least he owned up to it. But here's the problem though. People keep saying there's a video of him getting jumped. That's not true. Okay. Because he is saying it right here in the police report. He is saying this to the officer. I told him not to put his hands on me. So I have a problem with this now. People keep saying there's another video. There's no more video out there. There's not. Not. There's no more video. And I'm debunking this right now. There's no more video. He blacked out and did this to the kid, and he got to do the time. Okay, I know he's entitled to appeals and stuff like that, but but when it's all said and done, he's doing over 25 on this. That's just reality. He said, "I'm not alleged. I did it." But then he said, while we were walking to the squad car, he said he put his hands on me and I told him not to. See, he's already trying to, because he's already coming out of that spell he was in. He's trying to plead to the police officers why he did this, because he know he in trouble. You said, yeah, Max, Austin put his hands on him and up. That's not what he said to the police officers. No, we can't say that. I'm reading the police report. I'm not making this out of the thin blue sky. Nobody else put their hands on him. I'm talking about the stabbing. It was him involving one person. It's not they. Okay. I'm reading the actual police report. You can go read it. So I think people intentionally come to other people's chats just to say that. No, we're dealing with reality here. I follow cases for the past 10 years. I know what I'm doing. We're reading the police report now. We're not going with what the other vloggers are saying. We're not doing that no more. This kid, the jury deliberated for under 2 hours. They had him guilty already, and it was for a reason. Everything in life is not a conspiracy. People black out all the time and kill people, and they go to jail for it. That's what you do. That's what jails are for. Because we can't have this lawless society out here where if somebody touches you, stab them. We can't have that type of society. Unfortunately, it keeps happening, but we got places to send you if you decide to do that. I can't go out there and just stab somebody for no reason. He said he put his hands on me and I told him not to. He said I did not question the suspect about the incident while he was escorted to the patrol vehicle. I searched his person once again and I said sit in the back seat, driver's side of the patrol vehicle 2412. While the suspect was in the back seat, I noticed fresh blood on his middle finger. I verbally acknowledged that I saw blood out loud so it would be captured on my body camera. It should be noted that the suspect asked me, is he going to be okay, while he was in the back seat. I then identified the suspect. He provided me his name, date of birth, verbally said Karmelo Anthony, black male, with the date of birth. Well, I can't see it. It's in black, which I ran through the FPD dispatch. Officer J. Hancock arrived on the scene and remained with me and the suspect at this point. Carmelo then checked. Carmelo was then checked via the school database or FISD students, and also confirmed his identity. The identifying information he provided matched the individual I had in the custody, Carmelo Anthony. Next, I was advised by Sergeant Holland to transport the suspect to the Frisco Police Department jail. Officer Hancock and I transported him to the FPD jail. Again, I did not question Carmelo about the incident. Upon arriving at the Frisco jail, Carmelo was escorted in the intake area. The FPD jail staff changed him out into jail attire. I remained with the jail staff the entire time that he was changed over. The clothes that Carmelo was wearing was placed into the FPD paper evidence bag. The clothes remained in my possession from this point on. Upon Carmelo being placed into the jail cell, I continued to keep possession of his clothes. I returned from my patrol, I returned to my control vehicle, 2412, along with Officer Hancock, which was in the FPD Staley Port, and placed Carmelo's clothes in the back trunk area. I drove the patrol vehicle 2412 out to Staley Port and parked the car in the FPD parking area. Carmelo's clothes remain in the trunk. Let's see what else here. All right. It's just another police officer talking about when he got there. Mm, okay. It's just officer talking about when they arrived there. Um, it says here the victim, Austin, and the suspect was later identified as Carmelo Anthony. Okay. He was sitting under Memorial High School tent. Austin had told Anthony that he needed to move out from under the team's tent, and Anthony grabbed his bag and opened it and reached inside and proceeded to tell Austin, "Touch me and see what happens." No one really thought Anthony really had any weapons in his bag. And Austin proceeded to touch Anthony. And then Anthony told, wait, hold up. Austin proceeded to touch Anthony, and then Anthony told Austin to punch him and see what happens. Yeah, this premeditated. According to what he said here, it's premeditated. He, he said, "Touch me and see what happens," and then he touched him. He said, "Then punch me and see what happened. Punch me." Okay, he said, "Go ahead and punch me and see what happened." And I don't. And then he stabbed him. Yeah, this is. Yeah, I see why they did this. A short time later, Austin. A short time later, Austin grabbed Anthony to tell him to move, and then Anthony pulled out what recalled as a black knife and stabbed Austin once in the chest, and then ran away. Austin began grabbing his chest and telling everyone to get help. He advised he did not know Anthony's name, it's, but stated another Memorial Track member was friends with Anthony and he could identify Anthony. Described Anthony as a black male, skinny with possible a goatee, a short, puffy hair, and wearing Centennial High School clothing. All right. Then he was instructed to retrieve a crime scene log. Okay. Let me go back to what they said happened here. He proceeded to tell Austin, touch me and see what happens. Well, hold on. Anthony grabbed his bag, opened it, and reached inside and proceeded to tell Austin, touch me and see what happens. No one really thought Anthony really had any weapons in his bag. Austin proceeded to touch Anthony, and then Anthony told Austin to punch him and see what happens. A short time later, Anthony grabbed, Austin grabbed, oh, a short time later, Austin grabbed Anthony this time to tell him to move and Anthony pulled out a knife and then stabbed Austin. So let me stop right there. If it's true that he said, touch me and see what happened, and then he touched him, and then he said, well, punch me and see what happened while he was in his bag. That's premeditated murder, first degree. That's premeditated. That's not manslaughter. That's first degree premeditated murder. The jury got it right. That's first degree premeditated murder. He was set out to kill him at that point. He knew what he was going to do at that particular point. Now, I know people are saying, well, Max, there's another video out there. No, it's not. Because he told the officer, I told him not to touch me. He said him. He didn't say they. He didn't say they. He said, I told him not to touch me. It was only one person he was beefing with at that particular time before the stabbing. Now, I'm not talking about after the stabbing where people chasing him to hold him down. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the events that led up to the stabbing. It was only one person he was beefing with. Because people are saying the twins were hovered over him. He said, I told him not to touch me. Um, it says, let me see. It says he arrived at the crime scene, was already marked off, and the suspect was in custody. I began asking people if they were witnesses to anything. I made contact with Hunter and somebody else. They both were breathing heavily and crying due to the nature of the event. They were with the coaches on the field, and and it was pouring down raining. We made the decision to relocate to the locker room and just to the east and get out of the rain. Once there, things calmed a bit, but however, they were still hysterical, and I could not really talk in there. I learned that Hunter was the brother of the victim. I attempted to ask them both what had happened. I could not really get anything out of Hunter. Um, it says Austin and the male, the suspect went back and forth, and then Austin stood up and pushed the male to get him out of the tent. He said during that time of the arguing, the male was reaching into his bag. It was at this time that the male took out the knife and stabbed Austin and then left the scene. He was set out to kill him. That's what I'm thinking. He had ill intentions. This was first degree murder, man. He had ill intentions here, man. Because why you over there in the tent? And then you're gonna be like, well, touch me and see what happened. Okay, hit me and see what happened. And do you grab into your bag? He set out to kill him. Sure did. After this, I then stood by both three athlete witnesses until CID arrived and interviewed them, and I was then relieved by the SRO. Okay. Yeah, this dude, he totally blacked out. He said, touch me and see what happened. That's first degree murder. That's premeditated. The jury got it right, man. Yeah, I was reading a police report, guys. This was premeditated, first degree. That's what the jury got it right. It was premeditated. And the thing is, what's not helping his case in the appeal? He went to the officer, said, I did it. And it wasn't alleged. And I told him not. See, that's why you're supposed to keep your mouth shut. He said, I told him not to touch me. See, his lawyer could have finagled it and said they were touching him if he hadn't said nothing. But he said something and said, I told him not to touch me. The money is in the details. I told him not to touch me. He didn't say I told they not to touch me. I told them people not to touch me. He said, I told him not to touch me. If all he did was touch you, that doesn't warrant you stabbing him. Yeah, he's done, man. He's looking at 25 to 30 years before he get out. I bet you they won't even let him out in 20. They're not gonna let him out. Yeah, he's done. He made his bed. He got lay in it now. You said everybody spoke. Well, he did speak. I just read the police report. He said, I told him not to touch me. No, they know the truth. But ain't nothing they can do. They didn't tell their son to go out there and do that. They know the severity of the situation. They know that he made a bad decision. I don't know what was in that kid mind that day. I don't know. He had that knife, and he had that knife, and he was ready to kill somebody. No, I have to delete you. I'm gonna put you in. You said, let me see. You said Austin. Hold on. You out of pocket now. You said Austin laid in his bed 6 feet under. I had to put you in timeout. That's out of pocket. Y'all not doing that here. Y'all got to go to. Y'all have to go to another page to do that. You're not doing that here. You said, Max, you can't say it was premeditated because the juror has to. No, I can't say it was premeditated. He's been convicted now. It's not alleged. This was premeditated. The jury agreed to it. It's premeditated murder. He got convicted on murder one. This not alleged anymore. I don't have to say alleged anymore. The jury agreed with that police report, and they also agreed with what the people were saying when they testified. Carmelo only had 4 people testify on his behalf. If his friend that he knew, his friend that was with him in that tent, how come he didn't testify saying that Carmelo wasn't the aggressor? He didn't testify to that. So it was no way he could be helped here. No way. Now I have to dig deeper, or if somebody is listening, if you know him or you went to school with him, I would like to talk to you. I want to know, well, who was he affiliated with? Was he affiliated with any kind of bad trouble? Was he trying to prove himself to somebody? I want to know, well, first of all, why he was carrying a knife. They saying to sharpen his cleats. That's bullshit. He wasn't doing that to sharpen his cleats. Oh yeah, you mean everybody spoke but Carmelo in the trial. That's what you meant. Yeah. I'm just gonna ignore some of these comments. Um, so basically, here's the situation. When the cop approached him, he said, I told him not to touch me. I told him not to touch me. He didn't say they. He didn't, because y'all making it seem like he got jumped. No, he did not. Him and Hunter was going back and forth. He said, "You touch me if you want to," and Hunter touched him. And then he said, "Punch me and see what happened." He was ready to kill him. He was ready to kill him. He just wanted to justify what he about to do. That's why he said, "Touch me and see what happened." He knew what he wanted to do, but in order to justify it, he wanted the kid to touch him. He was the aggressor. And that's what the jury believe. I'm just telling you what the jury believe. It's not alleged no more. He's a convicted killer now. We don't that's not up for debate. And it's not up for debate that he kill him because he admitted to killing him. Hold up. I'm just gonna get you up out of here. Let me start banning people. Hold on one second. I'm just gonna ban everybody. Hold on. It'll be told. You said it wouldn't be. I know what I let me put you in timeout. Let me see. Let me get everybody out of here. I'm gonna deter y'all from being in here. Hold on one second. No, you're okay. Okay, everybody should be out of here now. All right. So what happened was he said I told him not to touch me. He didn't say I told them not to. Yeah, I know what them and they meant, asshole. I know what that means. Yeah, I told them not to touch me. All right. He didn't say that in the police report. He said I told him not to touch me. It was one person, singular, him. He didn't say they. He didn't say them. That's what I meant. Okay. I'm just Shield. I'm just blocking people. I'm Kim Jong Un in the comments. I am a dictator. I don't when I'm not I don't want to hear actually to be honest with you, I don't want no debate no more. I don't even want it. It's just what I say and that's it. I don't want no more debates because you guys are purposely lying. You're lying. The police report, he clearly said in the police report, I told him not to touch me. That's not good enough for just because somebody touch you. That's not good enough to do somebody dirty like that. Okay, he did this kid dirty, and the only reason why you guys justifying it because the kid is white. Maybe y'all don't like white people. That's your prerogative if you don't like white people. That's not the point. You said maybe that's why he didn't take the stand because of the truth. Yeah, it was no way they would have destroyed him on that stand. He would have got destroyed. Okay. His only defense was that the video was grainy. It didn't show the actual incident. He was hoping that the jury had some type of doubt and don't believe the witnesses. He only had four witnesses. He only had four people testify in his behalf. The defense only brought up four people. And one of the people they brought up, he said that Carmelo was the aggressor and he was a defensive witness. He was done. This kid got something going on in his head, but it's going to get fixed while he in prison. And if it don't get fixed, he going to get sent up. Okay? He's going to die the same way he killed that other person in jail. They're going to stab him up. He in the right place now. Something happened in his head. Okay? You don't stab somebody just for touching you. Do you understand that that's crazy? Okay? I can't wait for the transcripts either because I'm going to read every last word and syllable. I'm going to read every last period, everything. I'm going to read it all. This was first degree murder. Just according to what he said to the officer. I told him not to touch me. And then the judge, I mean, excuse me, the jury believed what the witnesses were saying. They said that he said, "Yeah, touch me," and then said, "Yeah, hit me and see what happened." So he was trying to. So touching wasn't good enough for him. You had to hit him so it could justify what he was getting ready to do. That's first degree. It's premeditated. He meant to do it. He meant to do it. Maybe he trying to prove himself to somebody. I want to know, was he in a gang or was he trying to be in a gang or something? If anybody is out there that see this video, if you went to high school with him, please contact me on Instagram. I would like to talk to you. There's something else they're not telling us. Okay. He had that knife for a reason. But I need to talk to some other people that know him. I don't give a damn what type of student he was. I know somebody I went to school with was a 4.0 student. He had to do 20 years in jail. That the good student don't mean nothing to me because he was a good student. I know plenty of good students that had to do time in jail. And this wasn't alleged. This was something one person, he was a professional robber. What he used to do was he used to go to nice areas and he used to stake out the areas. He used to help people with HVAC and stuff. So he knew the areas and he used to wait till people go on vacation and stuff and then come in there. He had a whole intricate system set up. You guys probably seen it on the news. They were acting like movers, like they were moving furniture out and it was robbing people. And he eventually got caught because he took several $1,000s worth of stuff over the course of how many years. But he was going to like nice areas and he could tell that nobody was in the house, and then he'll bring the moving truck. He had to do some time in prison. Why wouldn't the family hire a high-powered black attorney for 500,000? They had enough money under the funds. Well, the total amount they raised was 600,000 over the course of time. By the time they initially took the money out, it wasn't 600,000 yet, but it was close. Um, they were told not to get a high-powered black attorney. The father said this. He was told to get a white attorney. How you like them apples? He was told to get a white attorney. It don't matter, like white, black. If the attorney is good, the attorney is good. That doesn't concern me. But the dad said he was told to do certain things and not say certain things and not associate with certain people. Okay. So unfortunately for Carmelo, the jury, even though the right, Raymond. Also the jury read the police report. Well, they heard the police report, and also the jury for this type of serious case, it only took them under 2 hours to deliberate. So that means they already pretty much had him guilty, and everybody was in agreement. That means that they believed what the witnesses were saying, and Carmelo didn't testify in his behalf, which he don't have to. But you said maybe they were bullying him. He didn't say that though to the officers that they were bullying him. He said that I told the dude not to touch me. You know what I'm saying? I told the dude not to touch me. See, that's the problem. He shouldn't have said nothing to the officers at all. He said, "I told him not to touch me." That if he should have said, "I told him don't hit me with that baseball bat," or "I told him not to choke me," or something. I mean, come up with something better, Carmelo. I mean, come on. I told him to not choke me like that. Don't put your hands around my neck or something. But touching? Nah, man, that's not. You don't stab nobody for that, homeboy. No, no, you don't. So that's what he got, man. He got that. So let's see what Mark Garagos is saying. Y'all know Mark Garagos, right?
Now convicted, whose hand was in a backpack, who had said basically touch me and see, or something to that effect.
See what happens.
See what happens, reached in, 3.5-inch knife, plunged once, one stab wound, unfortunately fatal, into the heart, then left, was caught, and said when caught, then somebody said, "I've got the alleged perpetrator," or something to that effect. He then responded, "Not alleged."
I did it. That's what he said. And Mark, I think what's also important to understand is you and I did a podcast previously, Beyond a Reasonable Doubt, where we're discussing this. And it's important because, I'm just used to calling murder one. And when we referred to murder as murder one, in Texas, there's capital murder, manslaughter. There's no second degree murder. And I think that in every state, the premeditation element is also different. So I was looking at this, and again, I was not in the courtroom. I'm basing this off what I'm reading. Obviously, my favorite reporter from Court TV, Cody Thomas. I'm basing it off what
he's going to be joining us shortly.
Yes, our favorite. So, what I'm thinking in my head is like, well, maybe this is manslaughter because he didn't know Austin Metcalf. I'm thinking it's going to be explained to us why he brings a knife to a track meet. Maybe he was beat up previously by other kids at another school. None of that came out. None of that happened. And the fact.
See, the crazy thing is, guys, his lawyer, none of that came out in court. Why he had a knife. I mean, was he beat up? I tried to look for his IG. They might have shut that down. I'm sure he did have an IG. I can't find that. I can't find his Facebook, his IG, nothing. They've been shut that down. But they found some pictures. Some people were able to retrieve certain things, but it wouldn't have put him in a good light. You know how kids are. They do certain, teenagers being teenagers. I wouldn't really judge him on that, but his lawyer didn't explain why he had the knife, nothing. And actually, they don't have to explain it because it was legal for him to carry it because it was under a certain inch. But it wasn't legal to have it on school property or property like that, right? But just carrying around in society, he wasn't breaking the law. They didn't say he was bullied or they didn't say any of that. See, the thing is, they really didn't have to say any of that because they had the mindset of the prosecutors had the burden of proof. The prosecutors had to prove this beyond reasonable doubt. I think they thought that, well, all they have to go on is testimony, and some of the testimony was all over the place from the witnesses. So I guess they felt like they were going to try to convince the jury. I want to know how long that during his closing argument, as far as the lawyer, Karmelo's lawyer, how long did he spend on reasonable doubt? How long did he spend on that, hammering that home? Because if you didn't have the clear video of the incident, then you have to go off testimony. So I think they took a gamble. And I don't think that a deal was ever on the table, guys. I don't think so. And I think that, maybe the family, they didn't want, maybe if it was, but it involved a significant amount of jail time, and he didn't want to do that. He didn't want to cop out to a plea, because if you cop out to a plea, you got to go to jail. I think they just wanted to take their chances with the jury at this point. And we don't know if a plea deal was on the table because they don't have to make it public. You said the confession alone was enough for a lesser charge? That falling on knee and hoping for mercy. No, that confession form, that's enough for first degree. No. His confession alone was not enough for first degree, right? He just said, I told him not to touch me. That would just like, yeah, he gonna be found guilty on something. But they went on the testimony of the witnesses, because the witnesses said that he was like, touch me if you touch me and see what happened. He put his hand in his bag, and then he touched him and he said, okay, punch me and see what happened. The jury actually believed that. They believed the witnesses. That's why he got convicted. And also what he said to the police officer, I told him not to touch me. And he said it wasn't alleged, because the officer said, I have the alleged suspect right here. He said, it's not alleged, I did it. So he already confessed to it, but they believed everything else from the witnesses. This was a situation where he just lost control. And he lost control. It's like, I call it blacking out. He blacked out. Or what the kids say now, they say he crashed out. He pretty much crashed out. So that's what they say now. Like, Max, he crashed out, man. He shouldn't have did it. Yeah, I'm thinking he might have had something there, but that should have came out in court, because I would have given the benefit of the doubt. Like, maybe the medication he was taking was messing with his chemical imbalance, right? Like, do you know what I would have did, guys? I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I had to be honest with you. Now that I think about this, if I was a juror, I want to know, did he have some type of chemical imbalance? I would have gave him the lesser the charge. Or if the jury was insisting on first degree murder, I would have to say no. I would have hung that jury. It's something going on with him that they're not telling us about. This is not normal. This is a total crash out. It's not normal. Now, let me just say this about Austin. Austin, he should have known, when somebody put their hand in their bag, you believe them the first time. He does look a little off. Even when he was walking from court, the way he looks off. He looks off. But he looks like he goes in and out of it. Like, he could be taking medication. I don't know. Or he might not be taking medication. He could go in and out of whatever he's thinking about. Because, guys, mental illness is real. And I'm not saying that just to sound cliche, just to sound, you know what I mean? I'm not saying it like that. But you don't have to have a history of mental illness to develop it, right? It's something, a traumatic event. I know y'all saying he was taking medication for epilepsy. I'm going to start doing research on that. I got to find out the medication he was taking. I got to find out if that affects your reality. Because all of this should have been brought up in court. On hints on why people say he should argue ineffective counsel. Me personally, I would have gave him manslaughter because let me think. Even though it appears to be first degree, um, I don't think he set out to do it. I don't think he set out to kill nobody. Even though premeditation only takes a few seconds. It don't have to be an intricate process. Liz, are you here? Can you or somebody can you explain that? Premeditation doesn't have to, it could take a thought, a moment of thought, right? You said if he was undiagnosed mental, then he does not need to be able to do. Yeah, I feel you on that, B. But anyway, I just want to understand, like, it's not normal to just, you know what I mean? If somebody touch you, I mean, come on, man. It's not normal to do that. He had a savage moment. This is truly a savage moment. He became, at that moment in time, he became a savage. Make no mistakes about it. And I'm not going to lie to you. I hate to say this about him, but he does look a little off. Even in this photo right here, he looks a little off. He's the type of inmate where you just leave him to himself. He's going to be quiet too. And still waters run deep. This type of inmate you worry about. I mean, I don't know. The parents didn't mention anything about prior mental illness, though. They didn't. They didn't say he had mental illness. They just said that he was taking medication for his epilepsy. Or maybe he has something undiagnosed. I don't know. Okay, thank you. Let me see what you're saying here. Premeditation can be a few seconds. Oh, let me go back. Premeditation, I always ask Liz this because she works in the field. So she said premeditation can be a few seconds, time enough to cool down and still choose to kill. So it can be a few seconds, guys, for premeditation. Liz works in the industry, so I always ask her if she's around. She be in and out. All right, thank you. So you confirm what I said, because I said too, it could be a few seconds, but I need somebody to elaborate elaborate a little more than what I'm saying. Because I said, yeah, for premeditation, it can only be a few seconds, but I needed some more on that. So, all right, thank you. Someone explained the sudden passion is like you come in and see someone assaulting your child, and then you poke them. Yeah, you won't go to jail for that. You could get off. If you walk in on somebody assaulting your child and you poke the guy up, you probably won't go to jail. You probably get arrested, but after further investigation, I know in Virginia they'll let you go, because that's happened a lot. One time in Virginia, they let the man go. They apologized to him for arresting him. It just depends on where you at, B. You could beat that case. That's a case is beatable. The jury will side with you. Yeah, you also mentioned that too, Ram. You said yes. I mentioned that it's an afterthought which can occur in a split second by action or decision. Right. So I had said before, it only take a few seconds of thought, but I had, like I said, I needed somebody to elaborate more on it, because I had forgot all of that right there, that verbiage. But I knew it. For me to say a few seconds, I had studied it, but I forgot it. So thank you, guys. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna tell you guys why I do this. So for some strange reason, when I was a kid, well, actually, it was during the OJ trial. I like trials for some reason. When I was in grammar school, I used to read on, when they used to have the Encyclopedia Britannicas. I did a lot of research on Thurgood Marshall. And then when I got towards the high school level, I started just researching cases that made precedent in the Supreme Court. One of my first research papers in well, actually this was grammar school, was on Muhammad Ali case. And I know the teacher was like, "Wow, you like the law like that? That's a really hard subject." But she said, "Go ahead and do it anyway. I approve it." So I did the whole history on that. And then when I graduated high school, it was the OJ Bronco chase. So I followed that trial all the way through. And then after that, I just started watching stuff on TV, and then when court TV and all that stuff came out later on, I started going back to, like, I started watching trials live. So then on this channel, the first trial that I really watched live was the Aaron Hernandez case. So that's why I do this. I just like watching trials. That's all, because I like learning, because each state is different. Some things on the baseline are the same, but still there's a lot of nuances in the laws that are different depending on what state you're in. And I just find it fascinating for some reason. And that's why this case, I don't find it fascinating that somebody lost their life and somebody has to spend 20 some years in prison. That I don't like. I don't like the fact that he has to spend all this time in prison, because I think something happened to him. I think something was going on with his mental that day. Yeah, they didn't make the trial public, and you wonder why, right? The realist. See, here's the thing, the realist. I'm glad you said that, because why not make this trial public? He should have, the judge should have, so that we all could hear the evidence. And also I heard when we have to wait for the transcripts, the realist, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read the transcripts when they're available. I'm gonna purchase them and I'm gonna read them. Yeah, you don't just do something like that out of nowhere. Something was building up in his kid, and I want to know, because I know he was taking medicine for his epilepsy. I want to know, did that alter his brain chemistry? Did he have a chemical imbalance? You said premeditated equals the person thought about the killing before carrying it out. In this case, the killer dared the victim to test him, which resulted in murder. So that's why they came up with premeditated. But you know what else that I found out? The judge agreed with both sides, the lawyers. He agreed with both lawyers, the prosecutor and the defense, that they should put manslaughter on the table to give the jury opportunity of manslaughter, because maybe you can't come up with murder one, but murder one stuck with the jury. Yeah, he was on meds. Betty, I like your name, Betty Spaghetti. Oh man, yes, he was on meds for epilepsy, and he needs his meds. He needs his meds. Yeah, the system financially, hold on. The system financially will always be utilizing labor from him. Right. A lot of people benefiting off this. Saying touch me and see what happens never means touch me never. But see, here's the thing, the realist, the twin didn't understand that. He didn't read the room. If somebody go in their bag and say, come over here and touch me if you want to, you don't touch him. That means you walk away, because he might have a gun in his bag. But you know what the people testified to? We didn't believe he had a weapon. How do y'all not know that? He the one saying reach in his bag, and maybe he thought that he didn't have nothing. He was just bluffing him. He wasn't bluffing. So let this be a lesson for kids. If somebody reach in their bag and say, touch me if you want to, don't touch them. Yeah, he don't know. They don't know what reaching in their bag mean. He didn't know that. No, and to be fair, SD, you just came in here. You're not reading the full context on what I said. And matter of fact, you repeat what I said yesterday. I said that he played football with epilepsy. I said that. I said I said that yesterday, SD. I said we can't really, but I want to know, did he have some type of chemical imbalance, because it's not normal to stab somebody like that. That's what I said. Oh my God. Yeah, they didn't but see, Ashley, they should have thought he had a weapon though. If somebody reach in their bag and say, touch me, come over here and touch me and see what happened to you, he got a weapon. They're just they were just green to that. They don't know what that type of stuff mean. That means he was totally with the shits. Okay? They don't even know what with the shits mean. He could be on the autism spectrum. Even the way his dad talks, it sounds like something wrong with his dad too. No, the parents didn't go to the sentencing. He pretty much took that by himself, like, like that. Mental distress, emotional imbalance, deja vu, fear and confusion. Yeah, he has something going on. But see, the lawyer didn't bring that up in court. Because if I heard that, if I'm the juror, okay, I give him second degree. I'll give him the lesser charge because he had something going on. You said it does sound like his dad is a little, don't it? It sound like something wrong with him. Either that, I'm like, are they playing in our face? Because this is a weird case, man. Even you remember when they were walking him out of court? You ever seen videos of him leaving court? He looked like something wrong with him, like the kid. Maybe that's just me looking into things, but his dad sound like he's slow. The thing is, though, he probably wasn't diagnosed with autism, so they couldn't use it. But they made it seem like he was just a regular kid. He had a high grade point average. He had 2 jobs. He was a leader. He played sports. He excelled in sports. He's captain on his sports team. So he was a normal kid. But what I'm saying is stabbing somebody is not normal in the chest like that. Come touch me if you want to. And just because somebody grab you, gonna stab, that's not normal. Yeah, that's the actual photo when they shaved his hair. When he went through processing. You said you was sentenced alone, the worst feeling in the world. Yeah, he was sentenced alone. His parents wasn't there. When they took him off, when he looked back, it was no family there. That's crazy. You said you heard he saved a kid from drowning, which is very heroic. Yeah, I mean that's cool and all, but um I want to know, like, why wasn't his parents there? Maybe they couldn't get back in time. I don't know. And then all that money gone unless they hiding the money because they feeling that they might get sued. That's what I'm thinking. They might be hiding it because if they feel like they ain't got no more money left and they raised over 600,000, I'm thinking they're hiding it now because that's what I would do. Because the victim's family is getting ready to sue and they're gonna win. Because in Texas, if you're under a certain age and you convicted and all that of murder, the other family can sue the parents. Let me say this, guys. So I known this kid since grammar school. He was a normal student, but there were signs. Now that I look back, hindsight is always 2020. When we were in grammar school, he showed signs of something was wrong. But it wasn't until after high school. It was like 2 years after high school, he wouldn't come out of his room. He stayed in his room damn near the whole summer. The only time he come out is to use a bathroom. And he started hearing voices and all that stuff. So that's when it caught up to him. But there was signs of that even in grammar school and high school. I remember he was the kid that I don't know if I told y'all the story. He wanted to fight me because I just said, they were saying, hey, this kid know karate. He's like, he know ninja. And I started laughing. I said, whatever. He don't know no ninja. And he took out, the ninja stars? Remember no ninja star? He had real ninja stars. They were metal. If he threw them at you, to hurt you. He took out one. He said, he knows Kung Fu or something. He was saying to me. And then next thing you know, people say, hey man, he want to fight you. And you messed up. So at first I was a little scared. I'm like, damn, he know. Hold on one second. Hello? Oh no, I'm all right. Yeah, so they said he wanted to fight me. I was a little scared at first. I'm like, damn, I gotta fight this kid. And like I don't know what he gonna have. Like they said he got swords and everything. And so I remember like after school, I said, well, let's not fight here. Let's fight where the teachers can't see it because they said they want to fight in back of the trailer. I said, we're not fighting in back of the trailer. Let's fight up at the bus stop so that the teachers can't do anything. So we all walking up there and me and him go in the store. And that's when we became friends. I told him I box, at the gym. He said, oh yeah. He said, what gym you box at? And I told him, he said, oh, I've always wanted to go there. He was telling me about his karate school. And then we walked out. We never fought, but sometimes he used to, on dress down day, he used to come to school with his full ninja outfit on. That's not normal. So there were signs even in high school, because I known him even in high school. We went to high school together too. And he just did some stuff that wasn't normal. And I don't know if he was on medication then. He could have been on medication. So only thing I'm saying is this kid, like that I'm telling you about, he had a high GPA as well. But he used to go in and out of it. Like it's hard to explain. Like, and obviously now we knew that he had some type of chemical imbalance, and so. But the thing is, he was high functioning. I mean, he was great student. But he used to say crazy stuff sometimes. Like he used to tell me that he was related to ninjas. Okay. I thought it too. I said, damn, he related to a ninja, you know what I'm saying? Like I ain't had no reason for him to be lying, but I was in grammar school. But it's funny now that I think about it. And the kids, they like, because I didn't I started that school in first grade. I didn't go there in kindergarten because most of the people, they all known each other since kindergarten. I didn't know he was saying all this stuff. So he used to say, yeah, I'm related to ninjas. And he used to, on Halloween, he used to wear the full ninja suit. He had real swords, all types of stuff. But he had some mental thing going on, and I didn't know until after high school. It's crazy. Yeah, see, we didn't have no special place for the kid. We all was in school together. So I'm thinking this kid has something else going on. And it should have came out in court. At least the jury would have said, you know what? I'll give him manslaughter. You know what I'm saying? Because he has something going on. Even his dad sound like he got something going on. It's just weird, yo. It's just maybe I'm looking too much into it. And his parents, look, this kid, imagine this, guys. He got sentenced, right? The parents wasn't even there. When he was taken off in handcuffs, he didn't even see his mother. That's some crazy stuff right there. And then you heard what his father said. He said, yeah, I have to be a father. And when we going back and forth, we can't go back and forth with each other. He said, I have to be in parent mode or something he was saying. Like, why would you go back and forth with your son now? You don't want to do that. Something else they're not telling us. But that it's just something his dad said that didn't sit right with me. He said, when he called, like we can't go back and forth with each other right now because I got to be in father mode or something. He said.
Fact that a jury rejected a sudden passion plea, which again would cap his sentence at 20 years instead of 35 years, which is what he got. They rejected that. The jury thought he deliberately intended to kill. I mean, and that's that. And that blew my mind without, again, being in the courtroom because, the defense painted Karmelo as a good kid, got above a 3.0 grade point average. He wasn't some thug. He participated in after school events. He worked 2 jobs. So I was shocked to hear that this was cold-blooded murder, and it broke my heart. I mean, it absolutely broke my heart. The Metcalf family, what they are dealing with now is disgusting. They are getting death threats. Why? I don't know. Why are they getting death threats, Mark?
In both directions, it has become incredibly heated. It's become incredibly polarizing. I think that you not only in that direction, in the other direction, and it unfortunately is part of what happens in America in these kinds of cases, and it's just unfortunate. I think it would have been better. I've really evolved on this issue if there had been cameras in the courtroom.
Definitely. Without a doubt. Also, Mark, I think.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, guys. The judge made a mistake here. There should have been cameras in the courtroom. The judge made a bad mistake. He made a horrible decision. We should have saw this, because guess what? The jury said it was first degree premeditated. They heard something to make them. The jury didn't even take. I had said if the jury take less than 2 hours, he's in trouble. The jury already had their mind made up. They didn't have to go through the evidence. They had their mind made up. It's something they heard that made them feel like it was first degree premeditated. We should have had cameras in the courtroom. Should have had cameras in the courtroom. Now we have to go read the transcripts. But they didn't, and they had manslaughter on the table. Manslaughter was on the table, but the jury said no. This is murder one. He meant to do it. That's what the jury meant. That's why they convicted him. But they say he meant to do it. And if you notice, the jury is not talking. You notice that? They didn't do no interviews or anything. So, yeah, it should have been cameras in the courtroom, but unfortunately, we don't have that. So, yeah, but there was a lot of interest in this case. People really wanted to see it. Like, okay, yeah, I mean, because we wouldn't have had anything. We don't have nothing to go on really, except for the people that were there, and they're not telling us everything. You said it's not safe to talk now, maybe in the future. Yeah, because you're going to have somebody try to crash out. Yeah, it's better for them not to talk, to be honest with you. You're right. I wouldn't either. No, there were press in the courtroom. They had a certain amount of seats for the family, for both families, and they had a certain amount of seats for the press, and they had the rest of the seats was for everybody else. The press was in there. That's why the Law and Crime Network was talking about it. They were in there, and they really broke this thing down. The Law and Crime Network. They had a representative in there. Yeah, I'm not trying to take up for what he did, but I'm like, did he have some type of chemical imbalance? Yeah, they didn't have no psychological report or nothing. So pretty much the defense said he was normal. I'm gonna tell you something, right? Even if the Metcalf father knew the judge and the prosecutor, Texas is still not gonna work. It's such a good old boy system that even the higher courts are gonna agree. They all on one accord. You'll find out. Y'all gonna eventually find out again. You don't have to believe me. All right, let me just tell you this. Go research this case. Cameron Todd Willingham. Cameron Todd Willingham. He's a white guy. He was put to death in Texas for something he didn't even do. They said that he committed arson and killed his 3 daughters. That wasn't true. So then finally, to shut everybody up, they went and had investigators, fire science investigators go look at the house again. And they found out it was a electrical fire. You know what the governor said? They said, well, you put an innocent man to death. What do you think about this? He said, well, he was a bad guy anyway. And nothing happened. That's Texas. They all on one accord. So it don't matter if the judge, if it comes out that the judge and everybody knew each other, they still ain't gonna do nothing. You'll find out. You'll see. You'll see. You'll see. They don't mind putting people away in Texas. They don't mind it. And let me tell you something else, what a lot of locals are saying. They don't like that. They don't like that all these transplants are coming to Texas causing trouble. They don't like it. You said, I think Karmelo definitely intended to kill. That's what the jury said. It's a done deal now. It's not alleged anymore, Infinity. He did intend to do it. That's what the jury said. Okay? They didn't agree with manslaughter. They said he intended to do it. And look, if this is true, this is what the testimony said. He said, come over here and touch me. I dare you. And see what happened. So the kid touched him, right? So he said, punch me and see what happened. So they're saying Karmelo said, punch me now. Or after the kid touched him, he said, okay, let me see you punch me and see what happened. He intended to do it. That's premeditated. Okay? That's crazy. And look, his friend, they call him the friend, right? The friend. The friend didn't testify that he was in the right. He said he was in the wrong. And also, one of the defense witnesses said that Karmelo was the aggressor. That's crazy. A defense witness. And the defense only talked him out in the hallway before they put him on the stand. This was raggedy for the defense. They may have not had a defense. Yeah, he didn't want the camera to sway the witnesses or to deflect the public opinion. I'd rather have the camera in the courtroom, though. I know that he, decided not to, but anybody can tell you, right? Well, he has a right to appeal, but ain't nothing gonna happen. Remember I said that, SD. Remember I said it. He ain't gonna win that appeal. Now I know what people are saying. Well, how about the jury, Max? How about the jury? He's still not winning it. He's still not gonna win it. Well, first he said touching. He said, come over here and touch me and see what happened. And then they said the kid touched him. And then he said, well, punch me and see what happened. He didn't punch him. He grabbed him hard, they said. And then that's when he stabbed him. That's premeditated. And I want to tell people, they say, you know what people are saying? No, there's another video out there that proves it. No, it's not. You know why? Because in the police report, he said that he told the police while they were taking him to the squad car, he said, I told him not to touch me. He said him. He didn't say I told them not to touch me. He said him. I told him not to touch me. So I don't care if somebody touch you against your will, just touch you, and you stab them, you're going to go to prison for a very long time. That's just how it works in this country. You just can't stab somebody for touching. Yeah, yeah, it's not, well, it's his right to appeal, right? They got to give you that, just like he had a right for a trial, right? He just going through the process. They called him dead to rights. This is a dead to rights case, man. Look, DS, even if they're hiding evidence, he's still not getting out. This is Texas. I'm telling you, Texas, somebody told me yesterday, you have a 2% chance of actually getting some relief in the appeals process. You got a 2% chance in Texas. Oh, he gonna lose the appeal for sure. He losing that appeal. And I hate to say it, I'm just telling you in advance, he losing the appeal. And he gonna lose the appeal after that. Because you got, just because you lose the first don't mean you can't appeal again. He will. And also, the people say, well, Max, he'll be out in 17 years. No, he's not. They're not letting him out the first time. I don't care if he didn't have no write-ups. They're not letting him out before 25, 26 years. And matter of fact, they might come up with something to make him do the whole 35. Okay? Let's say if he had a write-up for defending himself, he had to get in a fight, right? They might use that against him. Yeah, he have a long time to think about it. Right, pay attention to the children mental health, but just the way the father's talking, oh my God. I might have to play that interview because it don't sound right. Or maybe I'm just, to be honest with you, I have to let y'all let me find that interview because maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm tripping. Because I could be wrong, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just the way he was talking. I don't know. Let me find it. Yep, I found it. It was there's a few. I'm not gonna go with the Megyn Kelly one. I'm gonna go with the Breakfast Club one. We're gonna listen to that one. Oh, dude, I didn't even realize. Put this on the charger. Which means I got to change my microphone. Damn it. Hold on a second, guys.
Every day I wake up, wake your ass up. The Breakfast Club.
Y'all finished or y'all done?
He has actually suffered from seizures, so we actually have to praying, waiting for family to come in. We have some family who has made it. We just right now lost words, waiting for him to give us a call as soon as possible.
So you haven't heard from him just yet?
We heard from him yesterday. He has actually suffered from seizures, so we actually have to bring his medicine to the courthouse. So we're waiting for them to give us instruction to get there.
We know Karmelo from the courtroom, but tell us, who is he? What kind of person is he? What kind of son is he at home?
He is a wonderful son. He's a wonderful student.
3.7 GPA, worked 2 jobs.
I'm sorry, baby, for cutting you off. He was actually taking online classes during all of this and still helped. a great GPA going through this traumatic time.
He was a kid. If I didn't say it, he was a captain of his track team, football team. He was working 2 jobs. He actually saved the kid life. That the mom, he jumped in the pool, and saved the kid life, which was amazing. I didn't know how great he was until this tragic.
I want to add some things to that. At home, he loves cooking, whether it's in the kitchen, outside, grilling. He makes the best hibachi. He loves running routes and playing soccer with his younger brother, Kingston. He has a brother named Andrew. He's 12, and Andrew is into doing science experiments, and Karmelo loves helping him with science experiments. He loves putting Legos together with his girlfriend. He's just a lovable, sincere child.
Yeah.
Do you feel like the world, just going through this trial, got an accurate description of who Karmelo really is?
No, we've come to find out, which we were before all this. We were a family that basically stayed to ourselves. We were very close knitted. My wife's at home. She stays at home. I was working, and we didn't know how cruel the world could be. Mm. They have his face plastered all over it after while he still was a minor. Mm-hmm. And everything was happening. We was getting threats. They doxed us. I was so clueless and so involved in work. I didn't even know what doxing was. They put our address online. And so we had people coming to our home. So we never had to leave in our home. Like they had us in some type of protective thing, whatever, to get us, to keep us safe with our other kids. The world right now, it sounds unbelievable, the things that he accomplished before this tragic accident. Like it will really mess you up. And as me being a father, I didn't realize, like him saving a life. I just, as a father, I got caught up in, hey, that's what you're supposed to do. That's your expectation. Being a man, hey, that's what we do. We move on. Like him working, hey man, you're supposed to have a job. He was, how it is that young. They're like, with your girl too much, man. You need to get a job, get a hobby. So he's working, but I kept him busy too. And this whole situation, the reality of this is that somebody literally walked in his life. Mm-hmm. Literally walked into his life. He did everything by the law, and look where we at.
I want to go back to that day, that track meet. Were you guys at the event, at that track meet on April 2nd?
No, we were not. I was actually supposed to go to the track meet, but the weather was so bad, I just stayed home. It's like, Mama, don't come, just stay home. Mm-hmm. And now, looking back on everything, I wish I was there. I regret not being there for my child.
Mm. When did you hear the news that there had been an incident that day?
I received an email saying that there was an incident, no phone call.
Sorry, guys. I wanted to say something. You know what it seemed like in the interview? I mean, I'm just maybe because everybody has different quirks about him. So I don't want to seem like I'm picking on his father. His father looked like he wanted to laugh, yo. That's what it seemed like to me. But everybody has certain quirks about him. Like, so I can't, it's like I'm really sound like I'm picking on him now. so I don't want to even go there. I just went there. If you go look at the Breakfast Club interview, matter of fact, let me just give you the link. It sounded like he was trying to hold laughter in or something. But hey, heaven. But that's just me being. I'm looking too far into it. I don't want to keep doing that. But there's the link. So if you see him talking, you see his facial expression. His eyes are not red at all. He don't have no. Is that his father, yo? Or are they sitting up here acting? Like, it's just weird. Even the way he's talking. He said, I didn't even believe that. He saved somebody. I didn't believe that. Shannon, I'm with you on this one. He don't even look like that's his son. His mother's pretty though. I ain't gonna lie to you. Man, his mother is gorgeous. You hear me? Look, I'm I'm trying. His mother's gorgeous. So is. It's something, it's just it don't fit. It's like it doesn't fit for some reason. You said the grandma is beautiful too. I didn't see the grandmother. But the mother's gorgeous. Good Lord. Yes, she is. And he just seemed like he have no. You said it was pouring. They made it seem like it was pouring rain outside. All the coaches testified that. So how can a group of people say that and one or two say it was pouring rain? You're always going to get varying testimony. We can all witness the same crime and have different versions of it. We're not going to have the same. I don't know, man. Like his dad, like the mother seems normal. It's the dad though that's throwing me off. And it'll hit different if you actually look at the video.
Know anything.
How
my instinct was because Karmelo, he's the type of child to let me know everything that's going on. And it wasn't like him to not call me and tell me what was going on. So when I received the email, we have Life 360. So I went into Life 360. I'm like, wait, they said the buses made it back to the school, but Karmelo location is still stating that he's at the stadium. Like, what's going on? So I headed to the school, and that's how I found out what happened.
And how I found out, I was actually in a work meeting, and when she first called me, I thought it was because it was right after April Fools. I was like, oh, y'all playing this because he doesn't, this is not him. Yeah. So I was on, oh, you playing, all right, whatever. But she was like, no, he was involved in the stabbing. So when we heard that, I didn't know what happened at the time. And they kept us from everything. Like they kept us, so we running around from place to place. And it was everything was just moving so fast that day. I never forget. It was just like everything. Then once we found out and he went to his bond hearing. The next day, somebody doxed us. I don't want to say her name, but a lady started making this. They try to blame it on one person, not making them about race. But you had this lady that just went on to talk about white lives and all this other stuff. And now it went boom. The race car started about, that's how Jake Lane and all these other guys got involved in this. But at the end of the day, this was a kid situation that a lot of adults made it about their personal, how they really wanted to feel. This is the time they wanted to show on this is how we really feel about y'all. And they used my son, for example.
It sounds like you wish you had talked more, that you had said more, that you had got your story out more.
I call myself sometimes you could do the right thing, but it could be the wrong thing.
Did Karmelo want to get his story out more to the public as well?
He was trying to listen. he was trying to listen to what he was being advised.
Mm-hmm.
You know, hey, don't make it about race. Don't do this. Don't do this. So we was like, all right, we go again. We played the game they wanted. We did everything a law abiding citizen supposed to. They told us don't do this. We did everything we supposed to. And he wanted people, of course he wanted somebody. They got pictures of him being 17 on with a dress on, saying he could be raped in jail. Like all kind of these adults are talking about this child, but nobody's seeing it. Like nobody's seeing it. So we can't say anything. The other family, they go paint this lie that nobody still have exposed, that he died in his brother's arms. And it was all
Well, that's
this.
not true, because that is the narrative. Yeah.
No, you never heard it no more. That the stuff was a lie. You heard about a bag. You never heard about a bag since trial. That's what I was telling people. A lie is temporary, but the truth lasts forever. It's just now, it's like harder now. I gotta fight to get the truth out with. Now he basically had to get the book thrown at him, 35 years in this county that basically I honestly feel as though that they manipulate us with a smile. They act as if they cared, but they really didn't. When they win the jury selection, we seen all the people with the jury selection. I was like, baby, this is not right. But my wife is the type of person. I'm not gonna just say us. We're both the type. We try to be positive. Hey, we're not gonna look at it. That's not what it is. That's not us. That's what it was.
So even when you noticed there were no Black jurors, it gave you pause. It made you want to say something, but you were still going along with the process.
Yeah, I was going along with the process because there's a lot of times when I hope this don't be controversial, but that's the first thing they do is they try to say we're emotional. We don't follow instructions, right? So we did everything that we was advised and told to do, and look what happened.
So who was they? You said that they told you. Who was they? Was it your defense attorney?
Yeah. So we were because about him being 18. So what they did was they kind of played everybody against everybody, if you could say. I'm not going to say they played us against each other, but it's almost they had him scared, like, hey, this, I'm a lawyer, this. So as me being a father, all right, you're the guy, I'm okay with playing my position, and I don't want to overstep any boundaries. Everybody kept saying, hey, to beat this. I even went to some Black attorneys. They're like, oh, you need a white attorney to go out there to fight out there. Remember they were telling us that? They kept telling us that. So everybody like, why you out there? Everybody was telling us, okay. So then when we get it, they basically tossed them over. A lot of objections wasn't done. It's a lot that wasn't done.
So do you believe your son received a fair trial?
No.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. And we're gonna keep fighting. We will not stop fighting for justice for my son.
Yeah, it's hard for us right now, and I've had my moments. And we want our children to do better, right? We look at our YNs. This wasn't YN. So what we gonna do about this not YN? We can make more YNs. Now you got a kid, like I just told you, everything that we're telling you right now is verified. 2 jobs with the HEB Foot Locker. That's who came to the buying him. His GPA, he still graduated through all this. He still graduated high school. He still graduated. The lady the kid he saved, this stuff really happened. He was never in trouble, and no, he was never suspended for no knife. But they had, actually what I learned was they had a smear campaign that they did. I wasn't familiar with that. And a lot of people that we were reaching out with, I understand business. A lot of people, they got a lot of things going on. So we was reaching out, I was emailing, but everybody want to go through, it's kind of a circle thing, which I understand. But I realized through this, Black entertainment is going to have to be, a Black network is going to have to be done, because I'm looking for people who would not would never understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
No matter how much you do it, no matter how much you do, they would never see it.
You know, you're saying that as you were watching the trial, as you were in there, you know, you didn't want to question the process. You wanted to let it play out. But was there at any point that you felt the outcome was heading in this direction?
No. Everybody lied. Look at the report. Everybody it's called what? It's perjury. That everybody did. Basically just did it with no, and they never was called out on it. I mean, literally they told within an hour of when it happened, it was 2 to 3 people. When they got to the trial, that's, oh no, you know, it was, I'm like, wait, what? And don't get me wrong, the defense said, hey, didn't you say this here? Everybody. One girl made up a lie, said it was over a race, that my son just walked up. This how crazy this is.
Yeah.
One girl sat on the stand and said, yeah, he just walked up to him and said, what, you want to race? It didn't even make sense. Then they asked her, did you lie? She was like, mm-hmm. On the stand. Nothing happened.
Why didn't the defense call more witnesses?
That's not my department, and I apologize for that. I don't have
you know, you know, as you look at it and you know, I'm not an attorney, but I'm hearing you and you're telling me all these wonderful things about him. And I'm just wondering, did the jury get to hear, you know, all of these wonderful.
Yeah, see, the thing is, we're getting like I read the police report. Now, could the police report be doctored? Of course. But I read the police report, and if there were a lot of varying testimony that wasn't like on the baseline, it wasn't all coming together, then as a juror, I'm going like, well, what's the truth here? Because we don't have a video of this actual incident. But the jurors, they went with first degree murder. So there had to be something there for them to say that this was first degree murder. But I'm gonna tell you something. I know how the system is set up, especially Texas. Because they're saying, because he said to the police, right? I told him not to touch me. Now, am I to believe that the officer put that down and that kid didn't say that? I don't know. Karmelo should have he in this situation, he probably should have taken a stand. He probably should have taken it. At this point, if I was a juror, I want to hear from him. But the problem is, though, if he had got on the stand and said, yeah, well, I told him not to touch me, then yeah, he would have been buried. I'm like, well, that's not good enough to stab somebody. You can't just stab somebody for touching you. Now, I went through the scenarios on a person doesn't have to have a weapon for you to use a weapon on that person. I had gave I was talking to somebody, a lawyer friend of mine. I said, if a person don't have a weapon and use a weapon on them, can you do that? He said, yeah. He said, what if a person bigger than you come up to you and put you in that, grab you from behind and start choking you? And the person is strong and is choking you out. He said, if you have access to a knife, yeah, you can get the poking for sure. Especially if people are around that see it. Yeah, you can do it. He said, matter of fact, you can keep doing it until he ain't moving no more. And he said, you probably won't go to jail. That's self-defense. Another case is if a person come up to you and you try to walk away and that person still insisting on fighting you, and that person pulls out like a knife or pulls out a bat or a golf club or has something in his hand, yeah, you can use your knife all day on that person. Nothing's gonna happen. I had gave a scenario where I know this is for Virginia because I lived in Virginia so long. If somebody break in your house and they see you and they run out and you chase them and shoot them, you're going to jail. That should be self-explanatory. But if the person come after you and that person has a weapon, he's coming after you, whether he have a weapon or not, he's in your house and he's still coming after you, then you can pretty much take care of it right there. and you won't go to jail. I never forget what this police officer said to me one time. This happened around 2020. I was getting doxxed and stuff. And a person actually was like messing with my car. But come to find out, it wasn't from the internet. There was a person in our area. It was a strange guy in our area. He was like looking in people's windows, and he was trying to go into people's cars and stuff like that. And he was going up to people's doors like at 1 o'clock in the morning trying to open the door. You know what the police officer said to us? He said, "Hey man, we having problems catching them, but if you guys catch them and end it, we're not gonna do nothing to you." He said, "Just off the record." He told us this. He said, "If y'all happen to see this guy and you guys take care of it," he said, "you know what I mean." He said it just like that. He said it off the record. Matter of fact, he cut his camera off when he told us. He said, if you happen to take matters in your own hand, do that. Pretty much he said that. I know Texas is a good old boy state, and if they need to cover up their tracks about anything, I'm not saying they did anything wrong here, but if they did, they're gonna cover their tracks and nothing's gonna happen at this particular point, man. Unfortunately, he's trying to say that the lawyer, like, because we want to know, like, why did he call more people? It's up to the parents to check the lawyer because he's working for them. Like, look, you need to call more witnesses, you need to do this and do that. Or maybe he did it on purpose so that they can claim ineffective counsel later on. I don't know. But even if they do, and if he win another case, will he still be found guilty if he go back to trial again? I don't know. But I guess they're trying to say that everybody lied. He didn't reach in his bag and say, "Come after me." That's what I think the parents are saying. That's a lie. But the fact of the matter is, Karmelo told the officer, "I told him not to touch me." We read the police report earlier. He said, "I told him not to touch me." And he didn't say them. I told them not. I told them not to touch me. Because when you say I told them not to touch me, that's more than one person. It's like a jumping situation. He said, "I told him not to touch me." So it's just one person, and he touched him anyway. And he didn't read the room, because if somebody put their hand in their bag and say, "Touch me if you want to," you have to assume that that person has a weapon. You have to assume that. I would have put my hands up and said, "You got it, fam," and I would have went to an adult to get him away from that tent. I'm gonna get him away from that tent, but I'm gonna go get an adult. And if the adult comes and he don't want to get away from the tent, then the police is getting called at this point, because now he's starting trouble. But that never happened. So, but the parents are trying to say everybody got on the stand and lied. But that's who the jury believed, because it wasn't a clear video showing the actual incident. They had to believe the witnesses, what the witnesses were saying. Unfortunately, they didn't have cameras in the courtroom, so we couldn't see it. I think that was a mistake on the judge's part. He should have had cameras in the courtroom. Right, Evan. Yep. Yeah, the kid that he knew in the tent, he made it seem like it was Melo's fault, Evan. This so-called friend. They making it seem like he shouldn't even stab the kid, like it was unjust. So he didn't have nobody taking up for him, Evan. Even one of the defense witnesses that came on the stand, even he said Melo acted out of pocket. So it was just all messed up. It was all messed up, man. It ain't. I don't see how he can get out of this one, because I know how Texas is, and I know people can say, "What do you mean by that?" Texas. First of all, let's go back in history for a minute. Texas is called the Lone Star State. The Lone Star State. They don't want to be a part of the 50 stars on the flag. You know, the 50 states in the union. That's why we got 50 stars, right? They want to be called the Lone Star State. They wanted to be their own country. Texas do everything differently. And when it comes to murder and things like this, they're truly an eye for an eye, and they will try their best to put you away. Yeah, you said Eddie wasn't even his real friend. That's what they're saying. You said Eddie is a snake plant. But see, here's the thing. Let me ask you this. Do you think it's a possibility that they talked to all the witnesses and got them to say certain things? Because I know that there's another video out there. Because kids, they record everything. But the problem is that video might show him in the wrong. But it all goes to this. Whatever people are saying, right, Heaven, whatever people are saying, is it right for you to shank somebody that ain't have no weapon? No. So yeah, they all agreed to it. Even the defense witness, Heaven. Even the defense witness said it was excessive. Oh my God, a defense witness? That's a problem. You're supposed to vet your defense witness, and you're going to have a defense witness saying that it's excessive. That's crazy. That's exactly what I think happened, Max. They had a whole year to get there. Mike, if that's the case, Mike, if that's the case, he's fighting an uphill battle. I know, Heaven. I know. He's fighting an uphill battle. So let me ask you this, Mike. They had a whole year to get their stuff together. How do you think he can? It had to be an act of God at this point, or it has to be the powers that be that has a conscience. Like, look, guys, we can't do this no more. But guys, I know what they did. I'm gonna go back in history for a minute. I want you guys to do something if you want. Might do this because I know you'll do it. Heaven, you might do it as well. When you go to Google, just type in Texas death row, and the TDC website going to come up. And look at the executed list, the people that's already been executed. It has it all. It has the years lined out, and you're going to find the names that I'm talking about. You're going to find Cameron Todd Willingham. You're going to find that. They also have it written down, their final words that they said. And there's a couple cases there where the people didn't even do it. Yeah, people will make it about race, but the thing is, though, my only thing is, was it a justifiable killing? That's the only thing I care about. But I'm also putting another perspective out there. If it was a situation where they set it all up, he not gonna win this. All right, let me see what you're saying because I like that comment. So we can talk about that as well. What's up, King? So King said, sorry, bro, a much larger guy hit you. After you warn him, I think you should stop him however you can. All right, I'm glad you said that. What do y'all, let me highlight that. What do y'all think about this comment, about this perspective here? That only works if it was a woman. So let me give you an example. So Heaven, let's say Heaven is walking her dog, even though the dog might get my ass, but knowing her dogs. But anyway, let me just say Heaven is walking her dogs. And I come up to Heaven. She doesn't even know me. Okay. And I grab her and I said, you're coming with me. And she poked me in the chest. She's not going to jail. You understand? She's not going to jail. And you know how I know that? Because when I took my concealed weapons class, the guy mentioned that. He said, if you're a woman and the man is much stronger, she can claim self-defense, however. Now, what happens if it's the other way around? If I'm walking my dogs and a guy come up to me and we're fairly equal size, right? And he grabs me. First of all, if I'm gonna have to, it's a few things. Each state is different. I don't know if he don't have a weapon on him. He might have a weapon on him. I don't know. I have to retreat first. If I try to retreat now, if I try to retreat and he's still coming after me, but there's nobody around, I have the belief of I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6 because I don't know if he has something on him. Now, what if he's like a big crazy guy? Like I'm talking about a monster looking guy. I probably can get away with airing his ass out. I probably can, but I would have to get a good lawyer to fight that. But I probably would get away with airing his ass out, especially if he's known for doing it and he got some type of record and stuff. We talked about this because if a person is bigger than you, yeah, like if you walking down, nobody's around, and this dude got the strength of like 8 people, yeah, you probably can air him out. But see, the defense witnesses didn't say that. They said that that Karmelo was the aggressor. If you're the aggressor, you cannot claim self-defense. So that's the difference of that story. So you're right about that. What if somebody's bigger than you and they putting their hands on you? Know you're not going to be able to beat them, but you're trying to retreat, and this person is like really beating you to a pulp. Yeah, you can take out your gun and air them out. But see, the problem is the key is in that story is you're not the aggressor. The people testified against Karmelo saying he was the aggressor. So in Texas, you cannot claim self-defense if you're the aggressor. So I put it out there. Could it be that these people were coached to say this? I don't know. But if it was just a situation with them going back and forth and talking crap to each other, he said, come over here and touch me if you want to. Nah, he ain't got no right to poke him. And then they said that he was like, hit me, hit me and see what happened. It's almost like he trying to like, okay, hit him. Like it's like he really wanted, like, like if that's true, you can't do that. But some people are saying we have to keep that on the table. Some people are saying that these people were coached. They saying that they might have been coached to say this. I don't know. You said if a person is bigger than you, that doesn't mean they deserve to die. It depends on the situation. So, Darlene, if you walking down the street, right, and I grab you up and say you coming with me, you got a right to air me out. You do. You can air me out at that point. Now, if I'm walking past you, right, and you get nervous because I'm coming towards you, and you sit up there and take a gun and shoot me, no, you're going to jail. You don't have a right to kill me because I ain't do nothing to you. Or let's say you start following me because you think I don't belong in the area and I'm not complying with your demands, and you shoot me. No, you're going to jail. You should go to jail. But if you're in certain sundown towns, you're not going to go to jail. You'll get away with it. That's why some people are upset, because they're saying that George Zimmerman got away with it. But you know what? No, certain people, no, that's just the people powers that be that's trying to get people upset. Ain't nobody thinking about that Zimmerman shit no more. Some people don't forgot about it. Or they'll bring it up, or the powers that be will bring it up so you can compare the two to try to incite something. We know Zimmerman was wrong because the police told him to stop chasing him, and he did it anyway. It's just the jury got that wrong. And then they're trying to bring up the 14-year-old case with the 14-year-old. This is two different situations. The 14-year-old was running and he got shot in the back. These are totally different crimes here that took place. So we shouldn't compare the two, but they are, because the people that's in the media. Did you know certain YouTubers, they working together with certain powers that be to try to trigger you? That's why they're there. That's why I wish I was there, because some of these YouTubers were at the Diddy trial and they did the same damn thing. Okay. So I wish I was there because I don't work for nobody. I'm a regular guy. And only thing I believe in, did the prosecutors meet their burden? Was he guilty beyond reasonable doubt? And the jury said yes. The jury said there was enough there for first degree. So regardless of what we think, the jury said it was first degree. The thing is, with the appeals process, he only got a 2% chance of having relief right now. And then they showing these videos of these fake AI photos of people urinating on the victim's grave. Those are AI photos, but they're doing that to try to incite somebody to crash out. That's what they're doing. They're doing it on purpose. So my thing is, for you, don't let this bother you like that. Yeah, he was told by the police not to follow him, and he did. So he really wasn't good. That wasn't good. But what I'm saying to you is, don't get triggered by this case. Don't. They want you to get triggered. They want you to go out there and crash out. Just like they put a fake story out there. You said Austin's father was not happy with the sentence. Of course he wasn't. He felt as though this kid should go away for the rest of his life. He should have got 99 years. His son ain't never coming home. So yes, he's crashing out. Yes, he's gonna crash out. But but Carmelo, it's just crazy. Even the person the family hired to be their spokesperson, he even have a checkered past. It's like this was set up to make them look bad, for sure. Yeah, I know. That's what people are thinking. It's like, oh, all the kids they were told certain things. We don't know for sure if that was the case, you know what I mean? But it ain't no way he getting out of this. That's my whole point, Heaven. It ain't no way he getting out of this. There's no way. He can go to the appeal, but like the parents said, you might as well get a public defender because you're wasting that money now at this point. You might as well get a public defender. You said this has to be a psyop. It could have been. It's not working though, because the average person, they're not trying to crash out over this case. They're not. They know right from wrong. You stab somebody, it is what it is. It has to be, the situation has to be right. Let me see. Let me answer that question too, Mike. Let me see. You said, Heaven, how much time do you think Carmelo deserve? Charleston White did do a U-turn. Well, I don't know why y'all listen to him anyway. You can look in his eyes and tell he the devil. You can look at his eyes and tell he the devil. And yeah, you can look at him and tell. He probably worked for the powers that be anyway. He's there to incite something. I'm thinking, nah, Heaven. Nah, not 5 years. If he had got 5 years in probation, his dad would have crashed out. And I would have been okay with that. There's no way he was gonna get 5 years, Heaven. And then the rest probation. If that would have happened, the victim's dad would have crashed out, yo. He would have probably crashed out in the courtroom. You said one. I know he has one eye, but he has a devil in him. He has a tormented soul. He definitely has a devil in him. Yeah, I think he's an agent undercover. He's like an informant. Like he's working for the powers that be. And they use him to try to race bait. So I don't even listen to him. I don't even entertain him. But people entertain him because he get a lot of views. Yeah, manslaughter for sure, Mike. For sure. Unless we can prove that well, yeah, I mean, it don't take much to prove first degree. I would have gave him manslaughter. Nah, 5 years in probation ain't enough. That's enough for people to crash out at that point. For a body, 5 years? I know what I would have done, having I would have sat there and be ready to crash out. Yeah, you're thinking it's negligent. She's Mike, she's even dropping it down less than manslaughter. She's saying it's negligent homicide. That's what she's going with. His negligence caused a homicide. Cardi B not giving him no 5 million. She just sitting there talking. You said Max has been in Texas before, but yeah, what did the person has the complexion for the protection having? Because that ain't happening for him. Not in Texas. If that's happened like that in Texas before, he probably looked like James Dean. Or he knew somebody. He had to have some type of pull to get 5 years now. You gotta have pull for that. You said I'm looking at 2 kids being kids. Right, I'm looking at that too. But in Texas, I think you probably not understanding this one, Heaven. In Texas, 17-year-old, they try you as an adult. You probably thinking he shouldn't have been tried as a no. In Texas, if you're 17, you're tried as an adult. They treat him like an adult. Yeah, I saw that case. But in this case, they tried him as an adult. If they try him as a juvenile, it's a different story. No, they tried him as an adult. 17, they could do that. All right, I'm gonna have to look up that case then. They did have a pissing contest. But the thing is somebody looking at me and they reach in their bag, tell me, touch me if you want to. Okay, that's a universal sign for me to not just back off because he got something in that bag. I don't know, Heaven. This crime was severe. He stabbed him in the heart, Heaven. He went savage mode. He went straight savage. Like I could see if he like cut him. You know what I'm saying? Like got the cut and he got the ooh. He went straight savage. Straight savage mode, man. He was a 3.7 GPA student, but he ain't had no damn common sense. See, it's one thing to be book smart, but you got to have street smarts too, and have common sense. Because common sense, man, nah. Mm. In 2022, 2 boys, one stab, the other one, and killed them. What colors were they having? I'm going by the crayon color habit that I always be taught. Like I always be messing with people. The person that did the stabbing, what color was he? You heard me. What color? What color was he, Evan? I'm just asking you. What crayon color was he? Because there is a such thing as you know, in certain cases. You said not a lot of 17-year-olds have street smarts. I'm talking about both of them. Because if somebody put their hand in a bag, that's a universal call sign to say don't mess with that person. He might have something in his bag. So he didn't show street smarts either. And the other one, he's a crash out dummy. Heaven, what color was the guy? The one that did the killing in that case you're talking about. I don't think they paid for him to have no psyche valve. He ain't had no psyche. It wasn't brought up in court. I know, but Heaven, that case you talking about where the kid stabbed the person and killed him, what color was he? Oh, is she talking about the case in Allison? I think she is. And he's white? Yeah, Heaven, that's what I'm saying. I hate to bring race up, but yeah, man, you gotta be I don't know. Let me not do it. I think that's what she's talking about. Because I remember her talking about it yesterday. Because I told you before, we judge defendants based on how they look. All of us do it. Oh, that's the point she is making. My bad, Heaven. Okay. She's making that point. That's the point she's making, guys. He was white. I know, Heaven, but the thing is, this country, is set up a certain way in Texas. Now, don't get me wrong. If you look at death row, there's a lot of whites on death row that got killed now. Texas. But that case and guy, he must have knew somebody. You said no black people were on the jury. Yeah, Heaven, it's messed up all the way around. Okay, yeah, Heaven, I didn't realize that's what you were getting at. You wanted me to look at that case, but yeah, it's crazy. Um, Nobody come together no more. I'm talking about all people. We don't come together for the justice system to correct itself. We all need to get on the same page, but we don't. Yeah, he already went through that, Heaven. Stephen, the first day. He got his hair cut and you were talking about the bending over and coughing. Yeah, he did that the first day. You said you wonder with Karmelo on the IEP, they could have. Now they ain't used none of that, Shannon. Nothing. Right. I feel you. I'm having. And the crazy thing is about the Luigi case. Luigi Mangione, Heaven, if you don't know about that case, he shot the United Healthcare CEO in New York City in the back. And he got women showing up to court loving on him. They saying how beautiful he looked. And they want people to practice jury nullification and find him not guilty because they said it was a just cause, even though they don't agree with him murdering. But being that this CEO was practicing denying claims and people dying because of it, they saying that that's a just cause. So you should find him innocent, even though it was premeditated. Shooting a person in the back. He waited for the guy. You say, yeah, he's handsome and crazy. But see, the thing is, people are saying that he shouldn't go to jail. They should practice jury nullification. Now, if I shot that CEO, ain't nobody coming to see me. They're like, his ass, he need to go ahead and fry. You said Twin was calling his bluff. I know, but you're not supposed to call nobody bluff, especially if they reaching in their bag. Yeah, no black representation is the Batson issue. They already raised it. But they're gonna try to raise it up in the appeal. Yeah, he said this whole punk ass ain't got nothing in his bag. I don't give a damn. If it's somebody reaching their bag, I'm thinking they got something in their bag. You say he's my brother. We Italian and Sicilian over here. Look at Shannon. Shannon, look, Shannon like Luigi. You hear me, Shannon? You like Luigi too? She like Luigi, so you know. See, y'all crazy. Shannon, you know that he shot that man in the back for no reason. But something in you, Shannon, you don't want him to go to jail. I know it. You say he's so hot. I know that's what you're thinking. Okay. He shot the man in the back, Shannon. He shot the man in the heaven. He shot the man in the back. Y'all stop looking at him now and look at what he did. That healthcare CEO was just walking down the street, minding his own business, and he shot him right in the back, killed him. Y'all think he should go away for life or what? Or do y'all want to practice jury nullification over here? Because he's hot. Y'all think he's hot. And y'all know damn well if it was me that did it, I'm like, oh, that Max is crazy. I know Max, he crazy. Send his ass away. No, Heaven. No. Y'all answer my question. Let's stay focused here. Y'all understand the assignment right now. Shannon, do you think Luigi need to go away for life or not? How about you, Heaven? Or y'all gonna wait to hear the evidence? Because you know I'm going to that trial. You said I don't care if it's denial of claims. For me, he's an elitist. That's what a lot of people are thinking. They thinking that since this guy was denying claims, a lot of people died because of it. He did a just thing. I ain't gonna hold you. Look, I ain't gonna hold you, man. If I was on the jury, because my mother had a situation when she was in the hospital and the insurance didn't want to take care of certain things, I'll find him innocent, man. I mean, not guilty. I'm being 100 with you. I don't give a damn about that CEO. He was an evil person. Denying claims and so many people died. Yeah. I think the other CEO, I think that, yeah, I ain't gonna say that about the other CEOs, but other CEOs, I'm gonna find him not guilty so the other CEOs could be put on notice. That's right. That's right, man. Yeah, not guilty. Not guilty, Luigi. Yeah, that'll be me sticking my middle finger up at the system. Not guilty. No, I wouldn't say that. You know what I would say, Heaven? I would come in my suit, in my bow tie. Max, can you be impartial? Can you judge this case based on the evidence? Yes. I will definitely base on the evidence on this case. I will look at all the evidence and come to my decision. Yes. I can look at this case like that. Yes. No, damn well I'm gonna have him innocent. I'm gonna vote him not guilty. because he denied claims, and that affected me because I know somebody that they were affected by them claims getting denied, but she lived though. Yeah, you're not gonna sit up here and deny all these claims and people died over it, and you just to save money and make the cut. No, yeah, not guilty, man. Luigi, not guilty, man. I don't agree that he did that, but do I think Luigi gonna be found guilty? Yes, I think so. I wouldn't be surprised if they practice jury nullification, but I honestly think they gonna get a jury that's gonna find him guilty. He has a state and federal case, guys. So he got two cases, state and federal. It's all happening in New York. So we'll see what happens. I don't agree with just shooting somebody in the back like that. But he isn't getting off though. Luigi not getting off. He's gonna be found guilty. For sure. You know what I mean? But this jury here, they had Karmelo guilty from the start. Straight up. They already had their minds made up when they went in that deliberation room. And it sucks, man. It's just sometimes you got to fight with your hands. There's nothing wrong with losing. But I ain't gonna lie to you, I don't want to be in nobody's tent. That's just like that's some weird. I don't want to be in nobody's tent, the other team tent. I want to be with my people. You see what I'm saying? Why go over there? Just go be with your people. Something we're gonna find out later on. Something was up. Something was up with this kid. It looked like something wrong with him. It does. It looked like something wrong with him. If I was an inmate, I would leave this kid alone. Like still waters run deep. It's the quiet ones that you got to worry about. You said histophilia, folks in the chat. Uh-oh, what's going on in this chat right now? What y'all talking about? Yeah, I definitely you got to watch this kid. Yeah, so you said everybody hate insurance. He is gonna get a no guilty. You think so? I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised, but I think he's gonna be found guilty. You said Luigi bag, Carmelo bag. I just know one thing: Texas is they don't play. You said women fall in love with the ultimate bad boy, especially if they like how you look. Yeah, they did that with Ted Bundy. They also did that with Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. They did the same thing. Okay. Yeah, women showed up to the trial for Ted Bundy. They had this old school term having they thought he was a hunk. He was such a hunk. That's what they said. He looked like Tom Selleck to him. They loved him some Ted Bundy. You said, why didn't his parents pay for a good attorney? I don't know. Y'all don't think I don't know. That's what they thought, having he had all the women at court sitting in the front row. Ted Bundy. You know, you don't think they had the funds. Where all that money go? That's crazy, man. That's crazy work. You say women like Luigi's thick eyebrows. Yeah, they showing up too. This one girl said she married his AI character. She married to him. And they all show up to court with his pictures on, their shirt, everything. You said the money raised is used for many things. It's crazy. Man, they need they need a court appointed attorney at this point. Work the appeal, we'll see. But guys, I'm out of here. I will talk to you guys later. Like I told you guys, when the Knicks won the championship last night, people gonna sit up there and act a fool in the city, and they did. I don't think these are regular Knicks fans. They're just people out there want to cause trouble. They set buses on fire. It's crazy. It's crazy, Raymond. Yeah, they were doing that to Ted. It's crazy. Yeah, people running around acting crazy in the city last night. It was crazy. You said how 15 students asked Karmelo to leave the tent. I doubt it was please leave. Yeah, I don't know, man. Me personally, I just wouldn't have been in that tent in the first place. I'd be over there with my people. He might have had something going on in his mind, you know. He don't look right to me. He don't. I'm not trying to take up for him, but he just don't look like he's all the way there. He don't look like it. He don't look like he's all the way there. We used to say back in the day, he don't look like he rap type. But that's just me. His father don't sound right. We would just listen to him. His father don't sound like either he on medication, to calm his nerve down. He don't sound right. Even if we didn't have no 10, I don't want to be around the other people. I don't know them like that. That's just how I operate. I want to be around my classmates. I would never go into another school tent. Because when I was coming up, we would have had beef. We had rival schools. Like, if we see each other, it's up. Like, I wouldn't want to be in their tent. That's crazy work. Yeah, Heaven, there's something wrong with that boy, man. That's the only thing I can tell you. That ain't come out in court. They don't want to talk about it. But it just seemed like something wrong with him a little bit. I don't want to, like, that's just my opinion. But anyway, guys, let me get out of here. I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for the convo. We'll be back. All right, y'all.